Is the drama behind Mykhaylo Mudryk actually worth it? This thing, it's been going on since before the World Cup, and now it's really beginning to gather steam. Transfer window is open, and Arsenal have been super strongly linked with Mudryk, and Mudryk definitely wants to come to Arsenal. If anybody follows his Twitter or Instagram, you should know that by now. Is Shakhtar holding on firm? 80 mil price tag on him. Chelsea apparently willing to match whatever bid Arsenal make to get him through as well. And there is just a big stalemate at this point. So the question becomes like, is it really worth pursuing this player? Like, if Shakhtar are going to be this bullheaded, and clearly Arteta has nailed him down as that's the player I want, but
Investment, yeah.
does it really make sense to kind of push through this whole drama?
I think they are going to play hard to get, and it might drag on till the end of the window, which we really don't want. We really need that player for the upcoming games. Still have a week to go for the derby, but I'm assuming if the derby is not a possible timeline, then maybe the before United we need to wrap that signing up, and the club are interested in playing the long game, trying to drag Shakhtar into a negotiating offer. Unlike Chelsea, who are like whatever, wherever, whatever, any random player, any some big kid, some star tournament. Okay, let's spend 100, let's spend 90, let's spend 75. They just, I think Chelsea are just used to copy pasting transfers right now. They're trying to look at other clubs, what they are going to do, and jump on the bandwagon.
I
Even with
mean,
Enzo, they did the same thing, right? They trying to put in a sneaky bid of 80 mil while Benfica are clearly holding on to their release clause. It's
yeah, I mean,
comical.
Chelsea's transfer policy has been really weird. I don't feel like they've had direction per se, and it's like they're adding more in the front end, they're adding more in the back end. Their midfield really needs support, and they're just like anyway. But getting back to the point with Mudryk, like I
Which
have
is
not.
why, which is why I think Mudryk might not sign for them because he
I
also
mean,
might feel the same
I mean,
about.
he's also apparently a very clear and obvious Arsenal fan, right? So if he has the option to pick between the two clubs, it's kind of obvious already what club he would want to go to. The question though becomes again about is like, is it worth pursuing him in this January market if this is the kind of friction that is going to take to get him out of Shakhtar? Because I have not honestly seen a whole lot of him. I saw him in one of the matches against Madrid in the Champions League, and he was really good. But I personally haven't seen him enough to judge, and he personally hasn't. This is his first top flight career move to begin with, and even there we are talking about him playing over there in Shakhtar in the Turkish league. So it's really hard to gauge how good he actually is, and for Shakhtar to be
Stubborn.
this yeah, exactly. For Shakhtar to be this stubborn about the transfer, it feels like one of two things. One is they genuinely believe that they have this talent on hand that has to go for big money, or B, they're just playing hardball because of the situation that they find themselves in.
True.
Ukraine. I don't know why I said Turkish. Because the situation that they find themselves in, with whatever is going on in the country, and their own financial restrictions and all of their issues over there. So I kind of empathize in that sense, but I honestly don't feel like it's worth pursuing him, at least not for January. We really need to I feel like we just need to switch gears and look for other options at this point in time, right?
I would want to agree, but I think if we've invested a good amount of time in looking at a player and that is the kind of profile that we want, I'm sure the club has a list of alternatives, but are there feelers being sent out to the alternatives? I'm not sure of. And if an alternative has to be signed, then I do believe the alternative might come even later in the window, and the club might push further for Mudryk than jumping in to get the alternative because you never know when Shakhtar might fold since the player himself is now really looking to move. I think it is more about what Shakhtar can do if they get the transfer done early on. If they're smart enough, they could easily get a replacement from the market, and with the amount, with the transfer amount that they'll get, they can probably reinforce multiple areas on their team and not just one replacement. So Shakhtar, be smart, try to do the right thing. Just accept the number right now because you can't really compare him to Anthony or someone else because those are clubs that just throw away money. United, Chelsea are not clubs that negotiate. Those clubs throw money away. And history is there to prove that fact. I don't even need to say anything.
Yeah,
So
that's true. I mean, Anthony move has really not worked out, so that probably wasn't the best barometer. And even when the move happened, he clearly seemed like a good player, but not worth that 80 mil price tag. And the other player that they've compared him to is like you need to pay the kind of money that City paid for Grealish, which again City played a release clause, so that's again a different situation in of itself. Not to mention obviously the English player tax that always gets stacked onto any English player. So I don't know where this valuation for Mudryk is coming from Shakhtar, but you're right. I hope we can talk some sense into them and just kind of show them the value of
getting
getting a
it done
deal done
early.
early. I mean, and again, I feel like Marquinhos needs a loan move. We have a few players that we can probably offer in exchange as well, even if it's just a loan, if not a permanent transfer. That I feel Shakhtar could benefit with. Maybe that's something that Arsenal will look to pursue. But what is the absolute maximum that you would be okay with Arsenal paying for this player?
70 mil, not more. I don't want Mudryk to be another record transfer signing. I
Another Pepe.
want that number. Yeah, I'm not saying Pepe. I'm just talking about the number because I've realized it could be a Pepe, it could be someone else. It's more about the number that gets thrown out because if you look at it, we spent 50 million on Ben White, and that's probably one of the best 50 million Arsenal have spent.
Dude, 40 mil on Odegaard.
That's a steal. I mean, if Enzo Fernandez with one tournament can go for 120, Odegaard is clearly worth 200. I mean, I will not take anything less than that.
Well, yeah, I think if you feel like 70s, I think that's a perfectly reasonable amount. I wouldn't even personally go beyond 60 for him just because of how unproven I feel like he is. So the first bid actually seemed like perfect, 40 plus add-ons to get you to that 60, which obviously makes sense in so many ways. But let's see what happens. I mean, I love the fact that Arsenal know who they want, Arteta knows who they want, which is the kind of direction we have not had in the past. But at the same time, when a situation like that occurs, it is clubs find it that much easier to play hardball. So yeah, fingers crossed on this. I'm really hoping we get this move through. But if not, I just hope Arsenal don't end up spending a stupid amount of money on them. But yeah, let us know what you guys think about him. Is this a transfer really worth pursuing, or should Arsenal try to look at other options, possibly even? And yeah, please hit like, share, subscribe. We will see you guys next time.